Hi, so today I'm going to talk you through the 9 steps for creating profitable online courses that sell. And this is just an overview of the 9 steps. If you are watching this video because you've already downloaded my online course creator checklist, then you might want to print that off too, because this works alongside that. If you haven't already got that checklist, feel free to download that from the link below this video. So what are the 9 steps? Well, the first one is to set a goal aligned to your why. So why are you wanting to create online courses? There are many different reasons. Some people do it because they want to generate more income, or they want to monetize a revenue stream, another revenue stream they have. So some people might decide to take a course that they've already delivered offline and take it online so they can earn more money from the same content, leverage their time and money. For others, it's about freedom, the desire to be able to earn money online so they've got more time off to enjoy their life. Other people might say, well, I want to make a difference in the world. There is no right and wrong. It's important for you to know what your why is, and then you set a goal aligned to that. So setting that goal is really important, because that's what then starts to shape everything else that you do. So once you've set yourself a goal, the next step, step number 2, is to actually go out and find out what your ideal clients want. Now, this is a step that many people miss. So in the corporate world, going out and doing something like a training needs analysis is basic good business practice. Likewise, when launching a new business or product, it's basic business good practice to actually go off and do research before you launch a product and take it to market without knowing whether or not there's demand. So that's what this is about. So going off and speaking to the people that you want to help and finding out what they want and what they're willing to pay for, and including things like, how could you market to them once you've actually created your course, as well as what type of online courses might they be looking for, a home study or something more interactive. There are many different questions to be asking, so it's really important that you do go out and find out what your clients want, so that you actually go out there first with a course that they want and are willing to pay for. And don't fall into the trap of what many people do, which is to create a course that they want to take to market when there isn't necessarily demand for it. So the third step is then about defining your client transformation. So that is defining the series of steps, or the sequence of tools or sequence of techniques that you're going to teach within your online course in order for your learners, your participants, to get the results or outcomes they're looking for. So for instance, for my online course creator course, I have defined 9 steps, and that's what I'm taking you through in this video very briefly. Now, these 9 steps can then not only form a structure for your course, but actually you can then start to map out the different modules or lessons you have in the course relating to each one of these steps or techniques. Like, you could also actually spin off any of the steps as a separate course in itself. So that's the benefit of creating these steps. But from a learner perspective, people buying courses like to know what results they're going to get, what outcomes they're going to get, how it's going to change their life, and quite often the series of steps, the journey that you're going to take them on. So step number 4 is designing your course. Now, what I mean by this is not coming up with the detail of it. It's coming up with some kind of outline. It's scoping out what your course is going to be in terms of the name, the price, the format. It's a bit like if you, again, in the workplace, you would come up with an outline that you would take to a committee to agree that this is what the organisation was looking for. Or if you're running a workshop, you'd come up with some kind of poster that you then, you might, in the olden days, posted around shops and different places where people would see it. That's really what we're talking about here, coming up with an outline but without creating the content. So it is important here to come up with a name for your course, the format, the structure, your pricing, scoping out in a big picture perspective of what you're going to include. Once you've done that, it's then about setting up your client processes. So step number 5 is setting up joyful and robust client processes. So these are the series of steps that you need to have in place for somebody to be able to sign up to your course. Now, when you're operating in the offline world, people can phone up and book on, and you maybe take payment there, or they can send you a check. But in the online world, many consumers have got used to going out online, buying something, something, paying for it online, receiving an email straight away with details of when that product or service they've just bought is going to be delivered. And there's a whole series of processes that you need to put in place in order for that to happen. So that's what I'm talking about here. You're setting everything up so that people could book into a course. After that, what I would then suggest you do is you arrange and fill a pilot course. Again, this is very basic, good practice that any trainer would actually do. This is what is very commonplace within workplaces as well. So a lot of what I'm teaching you actually isn't just for the online world. It's actually, these steps can apply pretty much in as a training consultant and in workplaces too, you know, and that was what my background was training trainers within workplaces and to become training consultants. So arranging and filling a pilot course is so beneficial in so many different ways. Why? Because what happens is you can go out and test your materials. You test demand for it, you test the materials, you test the words and language you're using in your marketing. There are likely to be things that the participants will come up with that you've not thought about. In fact, I would say nearly always, I've very rarely ever in a position, and this is some, you know, as most of the courses I take online are things I've run many times offline as well. And there is still going to be questions and just the subtleties of different questions from participants. So please pay attention. And by doing this, you're going to create a much more robust training course. Once you have once you've arranged and filled the pilot, that's when you create the content. So you start to create the content. If it's a 1 module course, then, or a 1 hour course, or just a simple straightforward course, you scope out the content, you create it all, and then you would actually deliver it online. If it is a course where there are a series of lessons or modules, then what you would do is, I would suggest, is you record everything live, that you are there interacting so people can actually be asking you questions, and you can again be just getting feedback on the content you're creating, but also to create it module by module so that you can just tweak your course as you're going along. So it's very valuable doing that. As I said, you're going to end up with a much more robust and attractive course that people are more likely to buy if you do this. It's also brilliant to record live so that you can listen to the words that people are using to explain their challenges and problems. It might give you other ideas for courses. It will certainly give you ideas of wording you can use in your marketing materials. Once you have run your pilot, the next step, the 8th step, is actually to evaluate your pilot and then to refine your content and decide how you're going to package that course before you actually launch your online course. So obviously, you know, by getting your evaluations done, as part of that you may include things like testimonials, ask people what they would suggest you could do to improve your course or do it slightly differently, and then just go in, make the tweaks. And if you want to, one of the things I do sometimes is I actually get live sessions recorded, I then get transcripts, and then actually refine the content even more, and then I tend to re-record the content as a new module, if you like, a new lesson, so it's completely fresh, that brings into account all the feedback that I have had through live sessions and the evaluation forms. And obviously this is the point where you can also decide what formats am I going to launch this course in finally. Is it just going to be a home study? Is it going to be more of a big group program? Is it going to be a smaller mentoring program? Is it something I'm going to do with people on a one-to-one? There's no right and wrong. There's lots of varieties, lots of ways to do it. But this is the point that you want to decide that. Then the last step, step number 9, is all about launching your new course. So that then comes to, how are you going to launch? So you can do what we call a soft launch, which is a more subtle approach, where you maybe just let people that you know and your followers that you started to release a course. Or you might want to go down the more big bang, I've just released this brand new course, and be signing up lots of joint venture partners, working out a schedule, having a much more focused marketing campaign for a short period of time. As well as obviously launching that course, you want to also be choosing the marketing strategies that you're going to use to actually promote your online course. Because just like any other product or service, just because you've created an online course doesn't mean people are going to buy it unless they know you exist. So that all comes into that 9th step in terms of really looking and exploring how you can get your course out to as many people as possible with the least amount of time and effort. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll just sum up the 9 different steps. The first one is to set a goal aligned to your why. Then it was finding out what your ideal clients want. Then defining your client transformation is step number 3. Step number 4 was to actually design the outline for your course. Step number 5 was all about putting those back-end processes in place so that you can actually take on people into your course and deliver the course content. Step number 6 was to arrange and fill a pilot. The number 7, I'm getting my numbers all confused here. Number 7 is all about creating the actual content and delivering the pilot. Number 8 is all about evaluating and refining the feedback you get from the pilot into polished content. And step number 9 is launching your new online course. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have, then please subscribe to this YouTube channel or like my Facebook fan page so that you get notified when I share future blogs and updates. And obviously you can also check me out at alisoun.com as well. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.